everyone, it's Lily here at AIBC. I have the pleasure to be joined by Artem, the COO of True Gamers. Now we're going to take a deep dive into esports, which is one of the biggest hot topics I think we've seen at this event and throughout the world. Everyone's talking about it. But in terms of focusing between professional and kind of novice esports, how are we seeing that is being adapted across the world? Are we seeing that there's becoming more people actually just being gamers that are doing esports, or people that actually need to be professional at esports for people to gather an audience?
We will talk about the mass adoption of esports. We're considering that there are two ways. One of them is upside down, and it's the topic where the local market is booming now, right? So there are several North Star projects from Saudi and UAE. For example, Saudi Vision 2030 or Dubai Program for Gaming 2033, Esports Olympic Games, GG Sports Ireland, etc. And this really driving the mass adoption upside down. But on another hand, and what we are focusing now is the casual esports, right? For boys and girls who are playing in their homes, to bring them to computer clubs or to some facilities to compete each other or across the country, across the region. And this is also the hot topic, but now we are thinking that it's a bit disbalance between two sides, because most of the budget is allocated to the big events, because the budgeting itself it's from the government mainly, right? And because of that, the main funds are allocated for big events.
Of course. Yeah, but it's great to see that there's just more and more interest into esports and what can be done with it as well. And you mentioned the Olympics. Can you explain a little bit about what's to come with the esports Olympics and why that's going to be so big for the space?
The good part of esports that it can combine people across the world. Also, some people with disabilities or who cannot compete in regular sports, right? And because of that, it's a big move from officials and from the governments across the countries to bring people across the world to the same place. For example, in 2024, there was the first GCC Esports Years Games, and we hosted them in one of our clubs. And it was a really cool event where teenagers and young adults from the countries across the GCC came to one place, chill, play, compete, and it was like a big move for this in the region.
Yeah, I know how big it has become here in the GCC, because I remember I was at the Saudi F1 and more people were playing and being involved in the esports section than they actually were watching the F1 live, because that's how much excitement it creates. And it's just something that people don't always imagine would attract so many eyes, but we love it. As human beings, there's always that intrigue of watching other people even gaming. It's just such a big part of life that it captures us so much. And in terms of AI as well, and the integration of AI with esports, do you think this is something that's going to have a positive impact on the industry? Could it have some negative impacts as well, especially if people start playing against AI, and will the AI then take over the ability for humans to beat each other if they're competing against AI?
I think that we should focus on several aspects where AI can be really helpful and needful within the esports. So the first one, maybe the side one, but the core subject is their games development, right? And their AI can improve the process, so everyone can afford the game which is developed specifically for himself, right? With his own story or visuals, etc. For the esports itself, definitely AI also can help. For example, you can train against AI which will train you in the right way, right? With the right steps to improve your level. And in some point, it might be a case when people will watch how AI compete with AI. But even in this case, there would be a space for people to play offline against other people. Because imagine if AI will get all the job and let all the work done by itself, what people will do? Definitely they will spend time somehow, and gaming is one of these opportunities to spend time for them.
Yeah, it's actually a really good point, because I think everyone's discussing as well, the idea that AI will mean we won't have to be as consumptive in our time spent working, which means, more gaming, more time for gaming. I mean, some people will be like, that's the most positive thing in the world. Some people will be like, what? But everyone, that's the amazing thing about the world as well. Everyone's very unique in what they enjoy consuming, but gaming, what are like the statistics behind it? How much has esports grown? I mean, I'm not asking you exact statistics, but what kind of growth, and what kind of growth are you expecting as well, especially with the Olympics and things like that?
Where we're talking about esports, I think there are two slices, right? Two domains. So the first one is viewers, and definitely all the brands or sponsors, they're looking for viewers only. And for that, I think the CAGR is about 15% year per year, and it's a good scale, right? Because now, as I remember, more than 3 billion people are watching gaming and esports in their free time, and it means that it's a huge base and good growth. And from another part, it's a casual gaming, right, and casual esports. And for that, what we are observing, for example, here in UAE, there are not so much clubs to play. For example, in Korea, South Korea, of course, it's one club per 10,000 people. In Western Europe, it's one club for 50,000 of people. So, and now here in UAE for 10 million, we have only 50-70 clubs. And it's a huge space for new clubs to be established, and it will drive the casual esports too. So we are happy to support this trend.
For sure, yes. And you've joined us here at AIBC as well. In terms of the esports space, do you see that it has potential to grow here at AIBC? Are you finding that you're connecting with people as well that are part of the space here, or do you think there's still a lot more that can be done?
As I understood, esports was introduced recently, right, to the conference itself, and definitely there are a lot of touch points between all the industries, and definitely gaming and esports should be a part of this conference.
Definitely, yeah. When we're talking about those numbers, it makes sense. And when we talk about AI, our blockchain segment, really esports is on that path with the AI part of what we're doing. So yeah, I think there's so much growth and it's so exciting. Well, thank you for taking us on a deep dive into esports. I find it fascinating. I mean, I like to think I'm not much of a gamer until someone gives me a game and then I become obsessed. So it's out of choice that I try not to game. But thank you so much, Artem, for your time, and everyone out there, esports is only going to keep growing, so I think that's what we're going to have to do at AIBC, just keep growing our esports section as well, and people like you will be part of it.
Thank you for the session.
Amazing.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.